Fall camp was in Southeastern this weekend at home. Can you just start us off with the opening statement? You know, I'm getting through fall camp and matchup with Southeastern.
Well, it's an exciting time with fall camp. I think that we had a great camp. I think this time of year is always the best time of the year for our kids, and I tell them all the time, we've got football, and our school doesn't start for another week, and so that's one of the benefits of the quarter system is we get to really just concentrate on football for really the whole month of August. And I think that we've had a really productive fall camp. I think that our team, I've spoken on it numerous times, the chemistry and camaraderie of our football team is very, very high. I think you have to be very intentional in terms of building that every year, just with the transition of the rosters that you have really across the country. It's not a unique problem to Louisiana Tech. It's what you're faced with in college football now, and reorienting your mind around building a football team for one season. And these football players have really embraced that, from the chemistry and the camaraderie and the trust that they've built. And then as we've gone through fall camp, it's important to build a really good football team, and I think they've done that. And so I think that we've got a core group of guys that return. I think if you look at the defensive side of the football in particular, we can go through the list of the linebacker-wise, and you'll hear from him later, but Colby Fields is coming back for his third year. Chief Leota, number 42, is coming back for his second season. All three of our starting safeties are coming back for multiple years. Ced Woods has been here for 6 years. Actually would have to give a shout out to the fabulous four, fantastic four that we have on our team, which is unique in college football these days, but guys that were here before we arrived as a staff, and will continue to finish their eligibility with Ced Woods, Kenneth Bannister, we've got Josh Cobbs, and then the fourth of it is Ian Birch, our deep snapper. So it's pretty unique to have those four guys that have been here before we got here and have stayed the course, and so they've seen a lot of football here, and so it's an exciting time with the first game. There's a huge announcement, obviously in North Louisiana and Ruston yesterday that with the Radiance Technologies that I think is generated a lot of excitement. The transition to the Sun Belt's generated a lot of excitement, but all of those things for us are great for the future. But here in the present now, I think what I'm really excited about is our football team and what we'll be able to display on Saturday night and the following 11 to 12 to 13, 14 Saturdays that we earn. So looking forward to going to battle with this team each and every week, each and every day. It's a team that's very intentional about practicing winning football, and so it's exciting to be able to finally do that against the opponent. I think right now we'll probably make the decision towards the end of the week. We've had, I guess, probably 19 practices in fall camp. Each quarterback has gone with the three quarterbacks we've had. Blake, Evan, and Trey have all taken reps with the ones, and so we'll decide that come Saturday right before kickoff, and I'm excited about all three because I think all three are really they're unique in their skill set. I think we can win a championship with all three because they're in the game. I think that's always important. You don't want to win a game despite someone being there from the standpoint of what you have to call. So I'm looking forward to all three of them when they get their opportunity, and I know with the players around them, they're going to make plays. I think just the consistency, in terms of how they operate, from an accuracy standpoint, decision-making standpoint, the things that you can judge on paper, you take into account, you quantify that. But I think you also quantify, how does the football team rally around them, and how does the ball move, the type of energy that they operate with, and we've had guys that have been in this type of style of offense, the tempo that Coach Franklin plays with previously. So all those things factor into it.
You guys have won 11 straight season openers at home. Just how important is it to continue that streak here at the Joe?
Well, I think you want to defend your home turf, and we've got 6 home games this fall, and we want to be 6-0 at the end of the season in terms of all of our home games. And for us, our students won't get here until probably the Southern Miss game, or excuse me, the New Mexico State game, our third home game. And so you're relying heavily on the citizens of Ruston to come out and support our team, which they've done a phenomenal job in our home openers since I've been here, and we're looking forward to a great crowd there. And then I think from a home field advantage standpoint, I'm really excited about the new playing surface we have. I think our surface is very fast. I think our players are very comfortable with it, so that'll provide an added home field advantage for us. But I think that our kids are excited to play here at home. They want to make sure that we get the season started off on the right foot. on each side of the ball, talking about earlier, the experience that we had on defense. So you have a known commodity in terms of being in games with those guys. On offense, with guys at Hayden Chrisman, Ashani Cole, although he played in 4 games last year, you feel really good about him. Landon Nelson's played a lot of football here for us. At right guard with Jonathan Dennis and Roy Brackens, both of those guys have played a lot of football. At right tackle, Kenneth Bannister's played a lot of football for us. Eli Finley's played a lot of football for us. Some of those receivers that are still battling it out, I think that's a big position. I think you look at it positionally, from the quarterback standpoint, receivers, and then also the D-line. This week is a big week from that standpoint in terms of the competition. And I think the reason is you have a lot of capable bodies that are good players in those rooms, and you're still evaluating it all the way up until, really fast Friday from a practice standpoint. So, but you also have some guys that haven't played in games with you, and so, you're excited to see how they're going to perform, under the lights.
How important is a week 1 win just to set the tone for the season?
Well, every game is hard to win, and so I think every game that you play, you want to win. This is a really good football team in southeastern Louisiana. Coach Selfo's been there for a long time. You watch them, on offense, defense, and special teams, and I think the biggest thing that jumps out to me is their athleticism and speed. They're a really fast football team, and I think they won. They finished this last season on a 3-game win streak. They were 6-1 in their conference. It's a really good conference, and you look at their roster. When you think about from an offensive standpoint, their center has played a lot of football. He's a really, really good center. Their 2 guards really anchor their offensive line. At tight end, they've always had great tight ends, and part of that is I think their philosophy on offense and being in 12 personnel. They've done a great job of developing tight ends. I think some of that goes back to coaching as well. And they got a guy there in Ross Jenkins that coaches their tight ends, and he also coaches their special teams. And both of those former Louisiana Tech quarterback, and both of those units are really, they excel. Receivers, they return a lot of players that have played a lot of snaps. Number 4 is very dangerous on offense and as a kick returner. And then you look at him on defense, Caden Proctor, he's a really good defensive lineman from Oak Grove, Louisiana. They have a linebacker, KK Reno, who's played a lot. A safety, Ian Goodley, who's played a lot of football. Went to an FCS school and came back. So obviously they're doing something right there at CELA where he wanted to come back. Their nickel, Cameron Ford, is a really good football player. And so all of these games that we play are really hard to win, and this one's no different. And so getting off on the right foot from the standpoint of winning a football game, and that's really the goal each week. And as we talk about, the biggest thing for us is just our execution in terms of defense, offense, and special teams, and having a great sideline.
So what's your opinion on this new injury report that a lot of the conferences are going to this year?
Yeah, it's something we have to release every week, and I just think that it's something that I think you see the trickle-down effect in football in terms of the NFL, and that's one of the things of the trickle-down from the standpoint of once the SEC started doing it, then I think everyone just follows suit with it. So, it's just one other to-do that they've added for us as head coaches throughout the course of the week, and also with our training staff.
Is that in place these first 2 weeks?
Correct, yeah. Well, as far as my understanding, we'll have to release it this week, so we'll see. But, injury-wise for us, Jay Wilkerson won't play. He'll be out, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back, before the start of conference. And really from an injury standpoint, everybody else would be, a full go unless something crazy happens between now and Friday.
Heard a lot about Dane Benedict's during fall camp. I guess what's allowed him to kind of potentially come up with the first team?
Yeah, I think Dane's a great story. He walked on, came to us. Coach Franklin saw him out in California at junior college, ended up coming on and walking on. And I think the thing that when you watch somebody, like, that's all you have to, like, if you watch and listen, like, you can learn a lot from everybody. And you watch Dane Benedict's and you see a very determined football player. He's very determined. He's very coachable. Football means a great deal to him. And he's made the most of every single opportunity that he's had since he's been here. After he finished with spring, we were able to put him on money. And then he's just continually improved, every single day. I think he's done a great job in terms of his body with Dave Scholes. and getting stronger and getting faster. And he makes the most of every opportunity. And he's a kid that just oozes football. He loves the game. He studies it. It's very important to him. And so just, again, excited to see, again, hasn't played in a game for us yet. But he's really been productive in practice. He plays the game extremely hard. And I think that he makes plays when the ball's thrown his way. And that's one of the things about our receiving group that you've seen through fall camp as a coaching staff is they go attack the football. If it doesn't have to be just perfect for them, and Dane's one of those guys that, from a ball skills standpoint, he'll go up and attack the football.
Heading into this year's season opener, what would you say is the biggest difference between where this team was last year at this point and where they are this year?
Well, I think just you learn from all the experiences that you go through. And again, the aforementioned players that are returning, they're really good football players that have gone through a lot and have grown and are very mature. And I think that that's evident from us from a coaching standpoint in terms of watching how they prepare. I think the intentionality they take in terms of meetings to walkthroughs to the practice field. So I think in terms of where we're at now versus last year, it's a completely different football team. And I compare them only to themselves moving forward in the best version of themselves. And I think that they understand what they're capable of accomplishing. And our first opportunity Saturday night against a really good Southeastern Louisiana team, and then we'll go from there. But I think they have a great amount of experience. They have a great amount of determination, and they're really good football players, and we'll have an opportunity to do that Saturday night.
How have you seen over the years, Sonny, the gap close between the FBS and the FCS?
Yeah, I think that it has closed, Malcolm. It has, and I think part of the reason is high school recruiting. They're able to find a better high school player that may be overlooked, and I think these teams, in the Southland and the FCS, they've always been really good, and I think just from the talent standpoint that's available coming out of high school, I think that now some of the settling also of like the NIL and the transfer portal, like the hype behind it all, there's some settling, and the settling, what I mean is, like, not every story is going to be a kid leaves an FCS or Group of 5 school and he's going to be a first-round draft pick. Does that happen? Yeah, Trey Harris happened. But that's also a smaller portion of what's really gone on from the standpoint of, I think kids are finally understanding, like, they want to play. Like, you want to play, you want to be productive, and you want to have the opportunity to show what you can do for 12 weeks for 80 snaps a game. And I think kids now have seen that cycle, and that information is out there for them as well. And so I think that's where you've seen, just the gap being closed. And again, there's just so many good football players, in particular in this state. There's so many good football players in Louisiana. There's so many good football players in East Texas and Mississippi and Arkansas. And schools in this state have a great advantage from a recruiting standpoint because of our proximity.
Tonight, when the game's over, what's the one thing you want to say that this team was able to accomplish in its first game of the season?
Yeah, we won the football game. I mean, that's the first thing that we want to accomplish every week is we want to win. We want to play fast. I think teams that play fast know what to do, and that's on coaching and on players in terms of retaining information and being able to go out there and play a very violent style of football. And then also, these, when you say these three things, they kind of, but a smart, I want us to play smart and clean. And so I want us to win. I want us to play fast and violent. I want us to play a smart football game. And I think that we've been able to learn from week 0 when you watch some of the things that have gone on, whether it's defense or offense. Situational football is so important, special teams in particular. And so we've won the football game. We've played fast. We've played a violent style of football, and we've played very smart.
How fast do you expect this to go? Like, how quickly, how fast, how different, jarring might it be with Tony in this offense than maybe we've all been accustomed to seeing through the naked eye?
Yeah, I think that there will definitely be a difference. And I think that sometimes tempo is not only just go fast, but it's go fast, it's slow down. It's muddle, it's slow down. It's increase, it's push the gas down, it's let off, it's push, it's let off. And then I think that you really have to see in the third quarter, the fourth quarter, like the end game in mind in terms of why you go fast, it's body blow, it's body blow, it's body blow, it's body blow, and eventually that'll allow you to have the knockout blow in terms of playing with tempo. And so I think that you'll see some of that. And I think to the eye, initially it'll be definitely different than what they've seen in the past.
How does that impact like the player-coach communication to that 15-second mark and things of that nature?
You know, Tony's been able to get the play in awfully quick, and so, you're able to, to be able to make sure everybody's on the same page from that standpoint. And I think in terms of the operation of how we operate on offense, the coaches and the players, I think last night's practice was the best that we had from the standpoint of guys' substitution packages on and off the field. And so it impacts the game, and at 15 seconds they cut it off, and so I don't foresee us using that too much.
Defensively, the green dot, is that Kobe?
It's going to be the Mike linebacker. Yeah.
Ben, got any questions?
I'm good.
Coach, you're good.
All right. Appreciate it.
Kobe Fields, everyone's ready. We can go ahead and get started.
Well, I guess just what's the excitement level for you as defense to finally get out there and play someone else?
We went through a long fall camp, and you almost get tired of going against your teammates every day. So finally going against another team that wears another color jersey, that'd be like Christmas present to do actually, this weekend.
Some key guys on defense who have multiple years starters here at Louisiana Tech now. How much more confidence does that give you guys in the preparation that you have in the unit?
That doesn't really give you confidence. I feel like the work that you put in throughout the whole summer, the whole winter, the whole camp, that gives you true confidence. So, we all, work together well. The starting 11 that goes out there and we communicate at a high level, we're going to have a high confidence.
How important do you do this really bad to lose this game this week one, to really set the tone for the rest of the season?
I feel like it's week one every week for us. The first game is always important, but every week is a week in its own. So it's going to be important to set the tone early and often out there this weekend on Saturday. It's going to be tough to play at Tech every week.
What's your impression of Southeastern?
I watch, a lot of film and stuff, so it's just another team. Every team is a team that you have to play against, so it's not really too much that teams could do to throw you off on your game. So every team we play is nameless and faceless, so I really can't tell you what they do special. It's all about what we do.
They will feature a new quarterback this year, though, possibly two guys splitting time. Just tell me for you guys, how important is it to pressure the quarterback early to get, some stops?
No quarterback that we're going to play against this year is going to like pressure, so it don't matter. Like I said, it don't matter who they have back there. It could be Michael Vick back there. If you're getting after him every play, he ain't going to be too comfortable for the whole game.
As a leader on this defense, if you were to tell a Tech fan why is this year going to be different than last year, what would you say?
I'm not really too much into words. They're going to see week in and week out, but I would say we are a closer team, and we do believe in each other. So they're going to see week in and week out, and they're going to see it definitely this Saturday.
You guys have this streak of 11 straight home opener wins. Does that give you guys any pressure to keep that streak alive?
Nah, it's not really no pressure. We put enough pressure on ourselves to just go out there and win every week. And I know I said this last year. I want people to come in here and Joe and be feared to play here. We call it Gravedigger Mountain. That's what we break it down on GDs every time. So if somebody come in here, they know you might not make it out.
Ben, got any questions for Kobe?
I'm good. Appreciate it.
If you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started.
I guess just, week one, I guess where's the excitement level with this offense, kind of brand new system and Coach Franklin? Just tell me where you feel like you guys are at.
I feel like we're really excited. We're excited to go out there, show what we can do, just play fast and just put points on the board.
Coach Cummings, hasn't named a starting quarterback yet. For the offense, does that make it more difficult for you guys going into week one, still being a little unsure?
No, I don't think so. I think, all three guys, like you said, get reps. We can work well with all three guys. They all gel with the offense pretty well. So whoever goes out there and starts the game, we have full confidence in them that we're going to go out there and win it.
Regardless of who is quarterback, I guess, what's the style of this offense fans should expect?
We're just going to play fast. We're going to go put points on the board. I feel like we're not going to let the defense dictate the plays we run. We're just going to go out there, do our thing, and play our offense.
How important is it for you guys to kind of set the tone early and get off to a good start?
I feel like it's always important to set the tone early, no matter who you're playing, when you're playing, and what. So I feel like it's very important to go out there, even in the first quarter, first half, just to go out there and set the tone.
We talked a lot last year about the offense being able to start fast. I know it's a little bit of a struggle for you guys. Going against Southeastern, you guys have scored 40 or more points the past 3 times you played them. Does that give you guys a little bit more confidence going in, knowing that you have their number?
I mean, no. This year, I mean, every team changes, every coach changes. So the confidence is really in ourselves, not so much the other team. So we have confidence in ourselves that we're going to go out there and put points on the board.
We talked to Coach Franklin a couple weeks ago. He said that he felt like your conditioning really changed compared to years past to be able to play throughout the rest of the game. I guess, like, where did you take that ownership piece, I guess, for yourself?
I mean, just by watching film last year on myself and just knowing what I can improve on. I mean, I want to be out there to help the team win. And I feel like if I'm tired and I'm not on the field and I can't get my 100%, then I can't help the team win when I'm not out there.
Ben, got any questions?
I'm good.
All right, look good.
Thank you.